The Lighthouse Keeper Who Carries Stars. Chapter 1, The First Light. I wake to the sound of gentle waves tapping at the base of my lighthouse. It's not really waking, though, not in the way most people would say. I have no memory of closing my eyes, nor of drifting away. Here, it feels more like stepping through a thin curtain, from one gentle light to another. The ocean breathes beneath me, steady and endless. I stand on the spiral staircase that coils up through the heart of this old lighthouse. The stones are warm beneath my bare feet, like they remember every footstep that's ever climbed them. Above me, the lantern room waits. Its glass panes catch the dawn's shy glow, casting fragments of pale gold across the walls. As I ascend, my hand glides over the iron rail, smoothed by years of touch. There's no rush. The lantern will wait for me. The sea will wait. Time, here, has nowhere else to go. At the top, the heavy door swings open with a sigh. The room greets me with soft light and a faint, familiar hum. In the center sits my lantern, a grand old thing of brass and crystal. But it does not burn with any flame you'd know. Within its heart floats a single star. Small, quiet, and shimmering with a breath that matches the waves below. I've carried this star for so long I can't remember when I found it. Or did it find me? Perhaps it was always here, and I only grew into the person who could tend to it. I lift the glass carefully, and the star flickers in greeting, like a bird fluttering its wings. Outside, the horizon is still dusky, the sky wearing the last whispers of night. I unlatch the window, letting in the salted wind. It touzles my hair and wraps itself around my shoulders. The star pulses brighter in the draft, eager to taste the air. I lean out, letting my eyes drift over the endless gray-blue. There, just beyond the far rocks, another faint glow calls to me. Another star, waiting. This is my work, though it feels too gentle to call it work at all. I find the lost lights that drift too low, catch them before they drown, and carry them back to where they belong. Sometimes I think the stars forget how to stay in the sky. Sometimes I think the sky forgets how to hold them. And so, I remember for them. Today's first journey is simple. The wind is mild, the sea is calm. I close the lantern, tucking my star inside. It flickers once, then settles, as if it knows we have more company to find. Back down the spiral I go. The stones echo with my steps, slow, unhurried. I step outside to the worn path that leads to the water. The lighthouse stands behind me, tall and patient, its stones covered in wildflowers and salt. It feels like it's breathing too. I walk to the shore where my small boat waits, rocking gently. She is old, painted in layers of faded blues and whites. I think she likes her scars. They tell her she's been trusted to carry many lights before this one. I place the lantern at the bow and push us off, the boat sighing as she floats free. The oars dip into the water, soft ripples trailing behind. I breathe with the ocean, in and out. The lantern's glow dances over the waves, tiny reflections like scattered seeds of light. The further I drift, the more the sea becomes a mirror. The sky above is pale, yet the faintest stars still cling there, refusing to surrender. I close my eyes for a moment, listening. The world hums in a language I almost understand. When I open them again, the new star is closer. It hovers just above the waves, trembling. I pull the boat alongside, careful not to let the lantern's glass touch the water. I reach out, and the little star shivers against my palm. Its light is timid but warm. It trusts me enough to come closer. I whisper to it, nonsense words, really, but they mean something here. I promise it warmth. I promise it the lantern's shelter. It sighs against my skin, then slips gently inside when I lift the glass. Now, two stars nestle together, their pulses mingling like quiet laughter. I rest back against the boat's side. The ocean rocks me, steady and sure. The stars whisper secrets I can almost catch but never quite hold. The lighthouse waits behind me, a patient witness. My boat drifts homeward, and above, the first pale sunlight washes away the night's last shades. By the time I step back onto the shore, dawn has truly come. I carry the lantern up the path, its weight a comforting reminder of my place in this world. The stones of the lighthouse greet me again, warm from the rising sun. Inside, the spiral staircase coils up like a question I never have to answer. I place the lantern back in its cradle at the very top. The stars inside pulse together, calm and bright. I sit beside them, resting my head against the cool glass. Outside, the waves keep breathing. The wind hums through the cracks in the walls. My eyes grow soft, but I do not close them. Not really. I only drift, held by the light I carry, and the quiet promise that when one star fades, another will always find its way to me. Chapter 2: The Path of Fallen Light. There is a hush that lives here when the sun rises too gently to be seen. After placing the lantern back in its cradle, I sit on the cold stone floor beside it. The warmth of the stars inside seeps through the glass, and I rest my palm there as if I could borrow a little of their glow for myself. Outside, the ocean murmurs in slow syllables. The tide shifts, brushing against the old stone base of my lighthouse. I listen to its rhythm, steady, patient. I imagine each wave carrying a fragment of a star's forgotten dream. Maybe, somewhere deep beneath the water, old lights sleep in coral cradles. I like to think I might find them one day. But today, the sky calls me inland. I rise and descend the winding stairs once more. My lantern stays behind this time, its stars settled, whispering secrets only they know. I wrap my long coat around my shoulders before stepping outside. The fabric smells faintly of salt and old stories. The path behind the lighthouse curls away from the sea and into the dunes, where pale grass bends under the hush of morning wind. I walk barefoot still. I like to feel the earth under me, soft sand, hidden pebbles, cool roots. They remind me this world is as alive as the sky I tend. Beyond the dunes lies the forest. Its edge is thin and tangled, but I know the narrow trail that winds into its heart. The air changes as I step beneath the trees, crisp and green, carrying the hush of hidden wings. Shafts of dawn slip through the branches, painting the path in shifting gold. I follow the faint glow that dances ahead. I've seen it before, tiny lights that forget which way is up, drifting down among the roots and fallen leaves. They gather here, waiting for a hand to carry them back. A crow watches me from a crooked branch. Its feathers shimmer with flecks of starlight. I wonder if it's borrowed them from some wandering light I have yet to find. It cocks its head as if asking if I'm doing my job well enough. I smile and nod, as if to promise I'm trying. Deeper in, the forest hushes even more. My footsteps soften against damp moss and the thin crackle of twigs. Here, time folds in on itself, gentle and strange. I can never tell how long I wander among these trees. Maybe I don't wander at all, maybe the forest carries me, step by step, to where I need to be. I find the first fallen light near an old hollow log. It hovers there, caught in a web spun between roots and old bark. Its glow is faint, trembling like a child lost in the dark. I kneel and cup my hands around it. It quivers but doesn't flee. I whisper again, nonsense words that only matter because I believe in them. The light shivers closer, slipping onto my palm. It's cold at first, like touching moonlight. But as I cradle it, warmth trickles in. It remembers what it is. I open the small satchel I carry for mornings like this. Inside, a glass sphere, soft as a tear. I guide the light into it, and it hums, curling like smoke before settling. It glows steadier now, safe in its new shell. I stand and tuck the sphere into my coat pocket. It bounces lightly against my side as I walk, a gentle heartbeat. I know there are more lights waiting. There always are. A fallen branch arches over the path ahead. I duck beneath it, brushing my fingers along its mossy spine. Beyond it, the forest floor dips into a shallow glade. Here, a slow creek slips through, carrying reflections of the sky above. The water is dappled with drifting sparks, tiny star fragments, each one a wish that slipped away before it could rise. I wade in up to my ankles. The water is cool, whispering around my skin. I lean down and scoop one of the sparks into my hand. It flickers like a shy firefly, then settles into my touch. One by one, I gather them. Some hide in shadows under the creek's edge, others drift boldly in open ripples. I hum to them, tuneless, but enough. They come, they settle. I place each into another glass sphere, nestling them safely in the satchel. When I'm done, the creek seems brighter somehow, as if grateful to have its lost light lifted away. I stand, water dripping from my coat hem, and turn back to the path. The crow is there again, waiting on a low branch just ahead. It caws once, a raspy sound that cracks the hush. I bow my head in thanks, and it flutters away, scattering a dusting of starlight like falling petals. I step back onto the forest path. The weight of the satchel is gentle but certain against my side. I know each sphere will join the lantern's glow tonight. Each will find its place among the patient lights that spin and hum in the high glass room above the sea. I pause once more at the forest's edge, where trees give way to dunes again. The lighthouse stands far off, its white stones catching the rising sun. I feel the hum of the spheres against my hip, tiny heartbeats keeping time with my own. I breathe in the salt and pine and soft morning wind. I walk back, step by step, never rushing. The lighthouse will wait. The ocean will breathe. And the stars I carry will find their way home. Chapter 3, The Lantern's Song. By the time I return, the sun has risen high enough to brush the lighthouse with gold. Its stones look soft in this light, as if they could crumble under my touch, though I know they never will. They have stood here for longer than my own memory stretches, longer than the driftwood bones buried under the dunes, longer than any single star could remember. I pause at the base, the sea spread behind me in a quiet chorus of waves. In my satchel, the spheres hum faintly against my side, collected lights, each carrying a soft heartbeat. I feel them through the fabric, a rhythm that has become as familiar to me as my own pulse. I rest a hand against the lighthouse wall, fingers tracing the rough stone. It feels warm under my palm, as if the tower remembers every light it has sheltered, every whisper it has carried up into the dark sky. Maybe it does. Maybe that is why it sings to me when I climb inside. I push open the heavy door and step into the cool hush of the winding stair. My bare feet find the stones easily, one by one. I have walked this spiral so often that I think it has grown a path shaped to my soles alone. As I climb, I listen. There it is, the hum that lives inside the lighthouse walls. It is a sound I can't describe to anyone else. It is not quite wind, not quite stone shifting. It is like a song sung too low to hear, yet somehow I know every note. I hum along, mouth closed, as I climb. At the top, the lantern room waits, patient and bright. I step inside and close the door behind me. The glass panes catch the light pouring in from the sky outside, scattering it across the old brass lantern that sits at the room's heart. I kneel and lift the lid of the lantern. Inside, the two stars I placed there this morning drift lazily in the warm cradle of glass and brass. They turn toward me as if they recognize my shape, my breath. I smile at them and set the satchel beside me. One by one, I lift the new spheres out. I hold each up to the light that filters through the lantern's glass. The stars inside stir, waking fully at last. They glow brighter when they feel the lantern's warmth. Some quiver like they want to stay in my palm. I whisper, and they settle, slipping free of the glass spheres and floating into the lantern's open cradle. As each joins the others, the hum grows stronger. The room fills with a soft, layered melody that is not quite sound, more like the gentle pressing of warmth against my chest. It moves through my bones, a song I carry down to my fingertips. When the last star has found its place, I close the lantern again. The glass hums under my touch. The stars spin slowly within, drifting like tiny lanterns inside a larger one. Their light spills through the brass fretwork, weaving patterns on the stone walls, constellations that have never existed in any sky but mine. I settle down on the floor beside the lantern. The stones here are always cool, no matter how bright the day outside. I lean my shoulder against the wall and listen to the hush that lives here. The ocean's rhythm rises through the tower's bones. The lantern's song threads through it like a silver ribbon, binding sea and stone and sky together in a lullaby that only I can hear. Sometimes I wonder if anyone else ever did what I do. Were there keepers before me, carrying fallen lights back to the sky? Did they sing the same quiet songs? Did they sit here with their lanterns and whisper old promises to the dark? I don't remember a time before this. I don't remember learning the way the lights tremble when they are near the ocean's edge, or how they gather in the forest's hush. I don't remember being taught how to lift them, how to hush them with words that mean nothing and everything. These things feel as old as my heartbeat. Outside the glass, the sky deepens toward dusk. The lantern's light grows stronger in the gathering dim. It seeps through the windows, casting new constellations over the dunes and down to the sea's edge. If anyone stood far off, they might see the lighthouse flicker with a warmth that has nothing to do with oil or flame. I know the lights must go back someday. They do not stay forever in my lantern. When the night is deep enough, when the sky is ready to remember them, they drift upward. One by one, they slip through the open glass, past my fingers, out into the hush above. Some whisper a last note of thanks, a hush I feel more than hear. But not yet. Tonight they rest, and so do I. I close my eyes but do not drift away entirely. I stay here, listening to the hum, to the quiet promise that the lantern's song will carry the stars home when it is time. Outside, the first true shadows gather across the sea. The lighthouse stands its watch, steady and soft. And inside its heart, I sit with the lights I keep, my voice quiet, my hands still, my breath in time with the hush of the waves below. Chapter 4, The Night Bridge. When the sky has gathered enough dark to cradle the lantern's glow, I rise from my place on the stone floor. My legs are stiff but warm. The stars inside the lantern drift lazily, bright but unhurried. They know tonight is for travel. I unlatch the tall glass panels of the lantern room, letting the night breeze slip in. It smells of salt and secrets, old, soft stories the waves tell only to the stones. The first star inside flickers close to the opening, as if testing the air. I nod to it, and slowly, it drifts out, threading its pale light through the open space like a shy bird finding its way home. One by one, the others follow. Some hesitate, spinning lazy spirals around my fingers before slipping into the night. Some glide straight up, sure of where they belong. I watch them fade into the wide hush above, each joining the fabric of the sky like a stitch in an endless quilt. When the lantern is empty, I close the glass gently. It feels lighter in my hands, but never truly empty. There is always the hum that lingers, a promise that more lights will come. I step back from the window and look out over the dunes. The lighthouse casts a soft glow over the grasses and the path that winds away toward the sea. But tonight, my steps won't follow the shore. Tonight, I feel a tug inland again, stronger than before. A path that wasn't there this morning now waits just beyond the dune's edge, a faint trail lined with glimmers, like breadcrumbs of fallen starlight. I descend the spiral stairs, my feet finding each stone without thought. At the door, I pause to pull on my coat. Its pockets are empty now, no spheres tucked away, but its weight comforts me. It smells like salt and wind and old lantern oil, like belonging. Outside, the night air folds around me, cool and soft. The ocean murmurs behind the dunes, but tonight I turn away, toward the hidden trail. My feet sink slightly into the damp earth as I step forward. The glimmers ahead pulse gently, urging me on. The path threads through the grass into a stretch of wild meadow I rarely cross at night. Here, the air is thick with the hush of sleeping flowers, petals closed tight until dawn. I brush my fingertips over them as I pass. Some stir under my touch, glowing faintly for a heartbeat before settling again. At the meadow's edge, I find the bridge. It is not a bridge of stone or wood, but of light, an archway spun from drifting motes of stars, each one a stray that never quite settled in the sky. They gather here when the wind is right, weaving a crossing over the shallow creek that snakes through the hollow. I have found this bridge before, though never in the same place twice. It waits only when it wants to be found, and tonight it calls me softly forward. I step onto it, feeling the hum of each light under my soles. It is like walking across a song, one that remembers every step I've ever taken here, and every step I've yet to make. Halfway across, I pause. Beneath me, the creek mirrors the bridge's glow, so the lights surround me above and below. The water carries whispers, tiny voices that drift up through the ripples, too soft to catch but enough to remind me that I am never alone here. I kneel on the bridge's gentle curve. A single stray star drifts up from the water's surface, catching against my sleeve. It quivers there, unsure. I cup it in my hands, breathing warmth into its cold edges. It pulses once, then settles, a soft glow against my palm. I whisper to it, the same nonsense promise I always give, you are not lost. I will carry you. It hums against my skin, content for now. I slip it into the inside pocket of my coat, where it nestles close to my chest. Its warmth seeps through the fabric, a quiet heartbeat to remind me that even when I carry only one star, it is enough. I stand again and cross the rest of the bridge. The far side opens into an orchard I barely remember planting, if I ever did. The trees here bear no fruit you can hold, only blossoms that glow like frost in moonlight. The air hums with the soft rustle of petals drifting down, catching in my hair, clinging to my coat. I wander among the trees, the bridge fading behind me until only the hush of blossoms remains. Now and then, A petal lands on my shoulder and flickers like a tiny lantern before winking out. I think the orchard likes to test whether I am paying attention. I always am. At the orchard's heart stands a small stone circle, flat rocks laid out in a ring, each etched with patterns I do not remember carving. I step into the center and sit cross-legged on the cold stone. Above, the sky stretches endless and open, speckled with the lights I've sent home before. I reach into my coat and draw out the stray star. It hums awake in my palm, its glow steady but soft. I hold it up, and for a moment it trembles, caught between staying and going. I whisper again, "When you're ready." And I wait. There is no rush here. The orchard sighs around me, petals falling like silent snow. The creek beyond the trees sings to itself. The sky waits, patient and wide. When the star lifts from my hand, I watch it rise, threading a silver line into the night until it joins the weave above. I feel lighter with its going, but never empty. I stay seated in the stone circle long after the star is gone. I listen to the orchard's hush and the creek's song and the whisper of the bridge behind me, fading into nothing. When I stand at last, I turn back toward the lighthouse. Its distant glow threads through the meadow grass, a promise of home. My feet find the path again, step by gentle step, carrying me back to the tower that waits to cradle the next lights I find. Chapter 5: The Keeper's Dream. I return to the lighthouse before dawn finds the edge of the sea. The meadow sighs behind me, petals drifting down like a memory I can carry in my hair. The bridge of light is gone now, only the creek's whisper remains, threading through the hush of the orchard. When I reach the base of the lighthouse, I pause to press my palm to its cold stones. They hum back, a low, familiar greeting that slips into my bones. I know this place as I know my own breath, quiet, patient, and endless. Inside, the spiral stairs wait for my steps. I climb without thinking, the lantern room at the top like a steady promise I never doubt. Each stone beneath my feet carries the hum of all the lights I've gathered, all the hushes I've kept, all the songs I've sung to the stars. At the top, I find the lantern empty again, its brass frame catching the faintest silver of the fading night. The glass panes shimmer with the last echoes of the lights that rose hours ago, like fingerprints on a mirror that never holds the same reflection twice. I sit beside the lantern, pulling my coat tighter around my shoulders. The fabric smells of the orchard, of fallen blossoms and creek water hush. I close my eyes, but not to drift away. Here, dreams are not escapes. They are bridges, soft, patient crossings between the hush of this world and the soft hum of the next. I do not know if my dreams are only mine. Sometimes I think the stars dream through me, weaving pieces of themselves into the quiet corners of my mind. Sometimes I think the lighthouse dreams too, stone and wind and salt pressed together into a memory older than I can hold. Tonight, or perhaps this morning, the dream begins with a single light. It hovers just beyond my closed eyelids, a tiny flicker that pulses in time with my heartbeat. I feel it tug at me, softly, like a child's hand pulling me toward a door I do not remember locking. I follow. The door opens into a room I do not know and yet know deeply. Its walls are made of the same stones as the lighthouse, but they curve in ways that do not exist when I am awake. They twist upward, then outward, folding into shapes like the petals of a flower that blooms only in the hush between moments. At the room's center sits a pool of water, still and bright as glass. I kneel at its edge and peer in. The surface does not show my face, it shows a sky I have never seen, stitched together from constellations I have never carried. Each star hums a note I half remember. I reach into the pool, and my fingers do not touch water but warm air. The stars stir under my touch, drifting closer until they press against my palms like tiny, trusting animals. They do not fear me. They know I am the keeper. When I lift my hands, the stars follow, lifting too, spinning lazily around my wrists. They thread themselves into a loose braid of light, winding up my arms and over my shoulders. I do not feel their weight, only their warmth, tiny heartbeats against my skin. I stand, the dream room shifting around me. The walls breathe, folding wider, opening into a space that feels as vast as the ocean and as close as my own ribs. The stars I carry drift ahead, weaving a path through the hush. I follow. The path becomes a bridge of light, wider and softer than the one I crossed hours ago. It hums under my feet with a song I do not need to remember because it never forgets me. Each step leaves a faint echo behind, a tiny flicker that fades into the hush. At the bridge's end stands another keeper. I know them, though I have never seen their face. They are clothed in the same hush I carry in my coat, the same salt and light scent that clings to my skin. They hold a lantern like mine, but its glow is woven with colors I cannot name. We stand facing each other, the hush between us alive with the breath of stars. They lift their lantern, and I lift mine, though mine holds nothing but the hum that never leaves. Our lights touch without touching, threads of brightness that weave together in the air between us. We do not speak. We do not need to. In this place, words are the quiet between breaths, the hush between waves, the promise between the stars and the sea. Our lanterns share their light, their hum, their promise. The other keeper lifts a hand, pressing it over my heart. I feel their warmth slip into my ribs, where it settles beside the hum I have always carried. I press my hand to their heart in return, and feel a hum that matches mine. For a moment, we stand like this, two keepers bound by the hush, the bridge, the song that never ends. When I open my eyes again, the dream fades like breath against glass. The lantern room is still around me, quiet and waiting. The sky beyond the glass is deepening toward dawn, soft threads of rose and gold stitching themselves over the last faint stars. I stand and open the lantern's panels once more. There is nothing inside yet, but the hum remains. It always does. I whisper a promise into the empty glass, words I do not remember learning, but that live in my bones. When you are ready, I will be here. When you fall, I will carry you. When you rise, I will remember. Outside, the first bird lifts its song to the brightening sky. The ocean breathes below. The lighthouse hums around me, stones warm under my bare feet. I stand watch as the horizon gathers its light, waiting for the next stray star to find its way home. Chapter 6: The Endless Light. Dawn unfolds itself over the sea, slow and shy, brushing the waves with pale gold. I stand at the top of the lighthouse, lantern open, hands resting on the warm brass rim. The glass holds no star yet, but the hum lives inside it, soft, patient, eternal. The stones beneath my bare feet carry the hush of all the nights I've watched from this place. Each step I've taken spirals inward, like the coil of the stairs that brought me here, like the spiral of the lantern's soft breath that carries each light back where it belongs. I lean against the window, letting the salty breeze lift my hair from my forehead. Below, the ocean mirrors the newborn sun, and I wonder if the waves remember every star they have carried, every whisper they have returned to the sky. Maybe the sea is just another keeper, cradling fallen lights until I can find them. Behind me, the spiral stair hums with the echo of my steps. I know I will climb it again and again, no beginning, no end. Some days, the path carries me inland to the orchard's blossom hush. Some nights, the bridge of light drifts across the creek like a promise I have yet to fulfill. Each crossing brings me back here, to the stones, the lantern, the patient hum. I lift my gaze to the sky. It wears a few faint stars still, tiny glimmers that linger even as the sun climbs higher. I know each by the hush they once carried in my hands. They shine down, gentle witnesses to the endless circle we share. I press my palm to the lantern's side. The glass is cool but alive. I imagine the next star already drifting somewhere out there, lost or curious or simply tired. It will find its way here in time, the same way I found my way once, though I cannot remember when or how. Perhaps I was a star that fell and forgot to rise again, choosing instead to stay here, to build a tower of stone and wind and light. Perhaps the lighthouse built me, a dream it needed to dream, a keeper it needed to hum its song into the dark. I step back from the window and close the lantern's panels for now. The hum curls around my ribs like a soft echo of the sea's breath. I know it waits, patient as the dunes, gentle as the orchard's blossoms drifting through the hush. I descend the spiral stairs slowly, my fingertips brushing the stones. Each step carries the memory of every step before, woven into the hush like a lullaby I will never forget. At the base, I push open the heavy door and step into the waking world. The dunes bend with the wind, wild grass whispering secrets in a language older than my voice. The path toward the shore shines faintly in the new light, the tide slipping in to kiss the stones. I walk there barefoot, feeling the earth and salt and cool water beneath my soles. I pause at the edge of the waves. The ocean lifts its voice to me, gentle and low. Foam curls around my ankles like soft threads, binding me to this place, this breath, this endless task that never feels like work at all. Far out, where the horizon softens into sky, I see it, a small flicker, hovering just above the water. A stray star, drifting too close, longing for a hand to remember its way home. I smile and step forward. The sea parts for me, carrying my reflection among the ripples. My coat brushes the tide surface, gathering droplets like tiny lights that cling to the fabric. When I reach the flicker, I lift my hand. The star shivers closer, trembling with a hush that matches the hum inside my chest. I cup it gently, careful not to press too tight. It rests there, warm and weightless, trusting me as so many have before. I whisper to it, "You are not lost. You are carried." The words are soft as foam, old as the lighthouse's stones. I turn back toward the tower, star in hand, sea at my back. The lighthouse rises above the dunes, white stones gleaming in the young sun. I know it waits, patient as always, ready to cradle this new light until it remembers how to rise on its own. Step by step, I walk home. Each footfall leaves no mark on the shifting sand. The waves breathe behind me. The star hums in my palm. The hush wraps around us both, steady and kind. And when I climb the spiral once more, stones warm under my feet, the lantern open to the waiting dawn, I know this circle will hold as long as there are stars to fall, waves to carry them, and hands to gather their light. Here, I am the keeper. Here, the light is endless. And here, the hush always hums me home.